Well, we got everybody. Okay, awesome. Guys, thank you for pausing final projects. Just so Lauren and Daniel, so you know, tomorrow is their last day of class. So they're in the final crunch and one more day in final projects. So if they have dazed looks, that is because like they're like, why isn't this working, or any number of questions. So I even joked that like, hey, if they're a web development shop, you can ask them for help with the final project tomorrow if you need. So
I could probably help you.
We've got some projects going. If you have time at the end, we can talk about some of those. But yes, thank you for coming, guys. I want to introduce Daniel and Lauren from LD Studios. You may recognize them from the Hype article in February about power couples in tech. It was cute and adorable. So, so that's that. They have a web development shop, and it's you're our Ruby shop, right? So yep, it's right in our wheelhouse, guys. So can't get away.
Cool. Well, thanks for having me, everybody. That was a great introduction. So I feel like I don't need to tell you too much about ourselves, but sorry for missing last week too. Whatever was going around took us out. We thought we'd just give it a week and come in today. I'm feeling much, much better than last Wednesday, just put it that way. So I wanted to talk to you guys about a topic that is probably something that y'all are thinking about, especially now that the class is basically, done. So I thought maybe we'd just talk real quick about landing an awesome Ruby job. And I would talk a little bit about my experience going through that process several years ago, and now just kind of talk from my new perspective as an employer. So I've basically done it from both sides now, so I can hopefully help you guys out with some questions if you have about that kind of stuff. So without further ado, I was going to play a quick video from Silicon Valley on HBO, just that you know what hiring in the tech world is really actually like.
I was really excited to meet a few new engineers to join the Piper team. So why don't you tell us a little about yourself? I don't work before noon or after 2 p.m. And I need to bring my dog to work. Are you dog friendly? Oh yeah, you can bring your dog to work. That's not what I asked. Are you dog friendly? It's a pool. Can my dog go in? Yeah. We're very dog friendly. Is there a lifeguard? Because my dog can't swim. Now, it says here on your resume that from 2010 to 2011, you crushed it.
But that's actually an old resume. It should also read that I crushed it from 2013 to present.
So are we to understand that you did not crush it in 2012?
There was a medical situation preventing me from crushing it to my usual standards, so I
So what?
took some time off until I was
medical?
crushing it 100%, at which point I'm crushing it full time.
So, it says here that you're proficient in C++, code assembly for multiple processor architectures, and that you are a cyborg?
That is correct. Short for cybernetic organism. I came into this world of filth and pain with a congenital heart condition, requiring the installation of a pacemaker, upon which I am mortally dependent.
Wow, he's technically a cyborg.
Yeah, it makes the resume accurate.
Look, we all know that I can make a shitload more money working for some multicolored happy town in a hermetically sealed box. But permission to be honest.
Permission granted. Granted.
I like that you guys are so weird.
Yes, we are the weird ones.
So that's just a glimpse, especially from the employer's perspective sometimes. So we just wanted to go through a couple quick tips. Some are pretty obvious, they might even be a little cliche, but even just when writing them, I thought these are actually really important, especially from the employer's perspective. So, okay, next slide. There it goes. Rails. So, but before we get into that, I was going to talk a little bit about myself. My name is Daniel Rice. I went to Georgia Tech, graduated in 2005, and got a degree there in applied psychology. So my first programs were written in C++. Back in the day, I took AP Computer Science in high school, and that was the language du jour of that time. Wrote a ton of Java for a little while, didn't really do anything professional, because I think I might have felt a little bit like some of the people in that video. But then I discovered Ruby in 2007, and everything kind of just changed from there. So in my past, I worked as an eye movement laboratory research assistant. Did that while I was at Georgia Tech. It was actually very computationally heavy. We did a lot of like bash scripting and MATLAB scripts and just like basic like data analysis type computing. So I can talk a little bit more about that, but it was for the degree name, it was a shocking amount of computer science was involved in it. Then I worked out in industry for a little bit. I worked at Moreland Software as a technical support engineer, supporting enterprise clients for their development tools suite that they used to have. And then I worked for a little while as an implementation consultant, then finally a professional developer and an IT analyst. So just kind of all over the place, multiple different companies, but I've been doing professional coding and software development for the last 5 years. And now CTO and founder of LD Studios. So a little bit about us. What do we do? We hyper specialize in building web applications, APIs, and integrations using Ruby on Rails. We like to work with only the best clients in the business. We prefer, nice clients, not the frustrating ones that call you at 2 in the morning to try to get stuff fixed or want you to work 80 hours a week. We do a pretty good job of basically pre-screening who we'll work with. So developers and people that work for us, we'll pre-screen out, potential bad fits. We do the same thing with clients too. We'll meet with people and then I'll basically just say, this guy, had certain red flags and we'll just, pass them on to someone else. We just don't like working with people that make everyone's lives more difficult than they ought to be. So we love using Rails, specifically because it's flexible, allows for rapid prototyping, and has a very active global community. So that's the first part, flexible, rapid prototyping, and as the active community. Those are the main reasons I got sucked into it in the first place. Most of the languages I worked with just did not have that, camaraderie the way that Ruby and Ruby on Rails did. I don't know if any of you guys have gone to any of the events or gone to conferences, but you'll find out very quickly that the Ruby group, just kind of culturally, is a much different group than people who do Java or people who do .NET. It's just a very different mindset. It may be because it's pretty much a total open source community, so everyone's just kind of used to sharing and helping everyone out. That kind of just blends through. But for me, not having a formal computer science education, just having that community of people is really what helped catapult me, kind of up in technical skill. So the community in and of itself, is something that's really important and really helped me and just really helps Rails. So we love using Rails for that. So we also give back to Atlanta charities by creating apps for free and sponsoring events for them. So just last weekend, we did an event for the W Underdogs. They're a charity down in the Peoplestown area, down by Turner Field, and just did a fundraiser for them so they can help keep kids off of, off the streets down there. So we can tell you a little bit more about them at the end if y'all are interested in hearing about them. So feel free to follow us on Twitter. Our handle is @LDStudiosATL. So jumping right into it, what do we look for in candidates? What are we trying to hire? We have our own specific needs. We're a small company. We need people who are very proficient in Ruby on Rails, but there's a little bit more than that. So we'll just get into, some of the first things that I always look for are people with, really solid, like really clear resumes. This is one of the things that I thought was a little cliche to put in here, but I still ended up leaving the slide. Because just from our standpoint, basically just imagine our life. Like we basically get a stack of resumes, whether it's email, like, soft copies or actual hard copies, and we have to sift through all of them. So the best way to make something pop up is to actually like make it look nice. Like even something like this is what Lauren did a while back. She'd use like nice paper. So instead of just using like staples, like standard paper, she'd actually go get like nice like hardstock paper.
And a photo goes a long way too.
So she just do things that would make her paper like kind of stand out from all the other papers, and you just kind of tend just naturally to gravitate towards those and want to read them. So there's nice little tricks there that you can do to basically like get yourself to stand out and then get that like initial impression. Because if I like read the first little bit of it, then I'll definitely want to dig in and find out more. But it's all about kind of getting that, just making it jump up and pop. So one thing that I do notice is like basically stock resumes with just like basic information on them. If it just says like, I want to get a job as your objective, we're like, okay, like if he's sending this like everybody. But if you say something like the top, like I want to work for a small like agency building Ruby on Rails, like doing like XYZ, like kind of at the top, if you tailor the resume like for me, and show me the things at the very top that I'm looking for, then I'm definitely going to call you. Everything else in the bottom is just kind of filler. Like it just kind